Hello, good afternoon. I'm Victoria Finch. I am the heart healer and I help professionals rapidly release fear, anxiety, and limiting beliefs so that they can live a life that's more contented, connected, and abundant. What I wanted to talk to you today about is insecurities. Are you struggling with insecurities? You know, for years and years, when I looked in the mirror, I would pick myself apart. I'm too fat. My hair's not doing well. I have to wear these glasses, and I would just pick myself apart piece by piece by piece. And it took me many, many years to be able to actually look in the mirror and like what I see. And what I want to talk to you today about is insecurity. Someone had posted on Facebook, and I'm going to see if I can find it. So bear with me if you would. I had an issue setting up. But a friend of mine had posted on Facebook an infographic. And I thought this infographic was really, really good. I really did. And when it talked about high functioning anxiety, and not only did it talk about that, but it also reminded me about the insecurities that I'm going to talk to you about right now. Being comfortable in our own skin can be one of the greatest challenges that we ever have to live with in this life. Yet, a secure person is likely to experience more success, have meaningful relationships, and gain respect from others. I am looking at my notes. And this has been proven time and time again. The more secure you are with yourself, the more money you make, the better you feel, the happier you feel, and the more friends you have. People often experience a lack of confidence, and they tend to find difficulty in a variety of different aspects of their lives. I'm going to hold this up here in my notes. Aspects of their lives. If you're battling with insecurity, it may be holding you back or it's preventing you from living the life that you want to live. How many times have you not gone to a place because the outfit, you couldn't find anything to wear, even though you have a closet full of clothing? How many times are you not going on video, and so you're not making the income you want to make? Because right now, live is a really big thing if you own a business. How about not going into interviews because you feel uncomfortable with yourself? Well, we all have some insecurities, even the best of us. They creep up on us, and they're quite insidious. Sometimes we don't even realize that we're insecure. But I'm going to give you some tips that will talk to you about insecurity and some things you may not notice. For instance, people who are insecure tend to be very defensive. They have a lot of defensiveness because they lack confidence. And because they lack confidence, they're very sensitive to criticism. Now, no one likes criticism that's not constructive, but constructive criticism is needed most of the time so that we can elevate to higher things. So a lot of times, if you feel uncomfortable with yourself, it could be more challenging to accept your flaws. Now, I decided many years ago that there were some things about me that I'm just going to have to deal with, and I'm just going to have to like. And this is all about learning to love yourself as well. Secure people are capable of handling criticism. If you're secure, you'll be open to hearing different ways that may improve. If you disagree with whatever criticism you receive, you probably won't feel the need to argue because you're happy with the way you are. I know I find that a lot of times I used to be so defensive. If it was like, if you said anything to me that I even thought was a criticism, I would shrink. I would shrink up, even though I might appear like I'm confident, and I would come up with an excuse as to why something was or something was not. And now, it just doesn't bother me. I look for opportunities to improve when someone is offering constructive criticism. Number two, you have the inability to enjoy the silence. I talk about this all the time. We have to learn to be with ourselves, because when you're with yourself, you're not by yourself. And there is a big difference. And we have to learn to appreciate that silence. When we're insecure, our minds get to going and we overthink. And I'm going to bring up this graphic because that's part of it was talking about. But we overthink things and we don't like the silence, and we'll turn on television or we'll go back to the blue screen. It's because we are not secure in our thoughts, and it makes us nervous. And secure individuals can tolerate silence and often enjoy it. When you're secure, you can allow others to talk without ever having to interject your own opinion. Do you find yourself listening to respond, or do you listen to understand and to hear? That's one question I always ask myself. What's really going on? I ask myself quite often. And that way I don't interrupt. I'm listening to understand is what I tell myself. Joking excessively. If you're insecure, you may use excessive joking as a coping mechanism. A sense of humor is good for emotional health, but if you feel insecure, you may joke excessively without understanding limits or appropriateness. Have you ever been around those people who just kind of joke all the time and you just kind of like, that's not the right time or the place for that. And that's a sign of insecurity. The best joke tellers are confident individuals. You will be much funnier and your jokes will be better received if you deliver them with confidence. You'll also have a better sense of when joking is acceptable. Self-promotion, that's another thing. People who are insecure always are trying to promote themselves. It's kind of like, look at me, I'm here. And they're constantly trying to self-promote themselves. Confident people don't need to promote themselves in this matter. When you're confident, you know how to live your life, and it's a testimony to positive traits. Even when you're confident, you'll still need validation. I mean, we all need some validation, some attaboys and some attagirls in our lives, right? Insecure people bully. We've known this for years and years and years. They will bully. And they're overly competitive. It's like they've got to win. If you're comfortable in your own self, then you'll lose and win with poise. Nothing dictates what an insecure individual must feel that way forever. If you recognize these characteristics in yourself, there's help there. I help my clients. I had a client who wanted her mother to hug her, and she was so insecure that she felt that she was unloved most of her life. After working with me, she was able to get that hug from her mom. I worked with an individual who wanted to say that she was the best at this particular field that she was doing, but she didn't feel like she was the best. She felt like there was always people better than her. With a little work and some confidence building, now she proudly claims that she's the number one in her field. And she's quite good. She's one of the best, I have to say. So having lack of confidence or insecurities, it's not a lifelong sentence. You can build your confidence up. I'm going to go over these one more time. Here are signs that may indicate insecurity. 1, defensiveness. 2, inability to enjoy silence. 3, joking excessively. 4, self-promotion. 5, bullying. 6, overly competitive. If you recognize these characteristics in yourself, know that you can take positive steps to overcome your insecurity and build better self-image. Confidence and security in yourself and your abilities will improve every aspect of your lives. I am a living testimony to that. Once you become more confident, you become happier and you become easier to get along with and you become more abundant. And yes, income starts to flow in. Income will start to flow. It's all about how you feel about yourself. And I'm going to see if I can find, let's see if I can find that one thing that I was trying to talk to you about before. Give me just a second. Let's see if I can find it. I may not be able to find it. I don't have it up. Here it is. Maybe this will allow me to find it. I'm trying to share it with y'all. Just give me a moment. See if I can find it. I'm taking a chance. Hopefully this is it and you can see this. Do you see high functioning? And this is talking about anxiety, but I think insecurities is this way too. One of the things it talks about is what you see. When that's that mask that we put on, yeah, detailed oriented, really outgoing, go getter, someone who's active, super helpful and hardworking. A lot of that is because when you're insecure, you want to seek that praise, right? You perform well under pressure and you're extremely loyal. And sometimes we're loyal to people who aren't loyal to us. And this is high functioning. It's talking about anxiety, but I have to say, insecurity is kind of the same thing, right? Because you want to do well. So you go above and beyond. And what you're really doing is you're overthinking and you're pleasing people, and you need to start to say no to people as well. Also, you have that trouble with saying no. You fear failure, procrastination, or over planning, poor boundaries. How often do you let people say and do things to you that you know that you should not allow them to do? Again, when you're insecure, these are some other things that you might experience in addition to the 4 things or 6 things that I talked about before. There is hope. You don't have to be insecure. I was insecure most of my life. I did all these things. I was an overthinker. I pleased people. I found my validation in others. I wouldn't slow down. I was a workaholic. I wouldn't say no. I would overcommit. I procrastinated. I overplanned. And I would change everything. And I didn't have boundaries, because I wanted to be liked. I wanted to be liked to the point to where sometimes if someone would insult me, I would just smile and grin, right? And so the outside that they saw, that active, outgoing, super helpful person, was not what was my inside was saying. So what I want to say to you today is that if you recognize these characteristics in yourself, you can take positive steps toward feeling better about yourself. Part of those positive steps would be definitely being able or having the ability, I'm going to stop sharing this right now, would be having the ability to do affirmations. I know when you first start, but try them. I didn't like them at first. It took me probably a year or so before I started using affirmations that worked. I talk about this a lot of times, have small things that you do, small wins that you do, and congratulate yourself. Put yourself in a circle of people who will support you and uplift you, that you don't feel like you constantly have to please, where you can be yourself. And just take time for the silence. And if the silence bothers you, then what I suggest you do is that you take a moment and take just some deep cleansing breaths and release. And maybe just think about happy things. Think about maybe your favorite vacation as a child, and just start to like being with yourself. Defensiveness, if someone has something bad to say about you, just let it go. That's their problem. It's not yours. Self-promotion, always trying to prove yourself and work harder and harder and harder. Don't kill yourself. You don't have to do that. The people who you are supposed to serve, they will come and they will see your light, and it will shine bright to them because they need you. That's all I have for you today. Thank you for your time for listening. If you're catching this on a replay, please hit replay. Show me some likes, show me some loves. Share this if you would. I love you. I'm Victoria Finch, the Heart Healer. Blessings. Bye now.